Find out the shocking truth about how Lee Marvin became famous and rich. Lee Marvin lived in Hollywood and was a true American movie star. Marvin was one of the best and most recognized actors of his time. With a career that lasted over 30 years, he was known for his rugged good looks, quiet intensity and magnetic screen presence. From his early days as a failing actor in New York City to his big break in The Big Heat and his famous roles in movies like Cat Ballo and The Person Who Shot Liberty Valance, the world of movies will never be the same without Marvin. There was more to Lee Marvin than just being an actor though. He had also been in the Marine Corps and fought in some of the bloodiest fights of the Pacific Campaign during World War II. Marvin was also a man who loved his family, the outdoors and being alone. He was always true to himself and his beliefs. This book we will look into Lee Marvin's life and impact in more depth, getting to know the real person behind the Hollywood legend. We will look at many sides of this interesting and complicated person, from his personal life and relationships to his time in the military and the lasting effects he had on American society. Lee Marvin was one of the best players of all time and a true American original. Come with us as we learn about his life. Chapter 1 is called From Humble Beginnings. Lee Marvin had a hard childhood and early career. Lee Marvin was born in New York City in 1924. He grew up in a rough part of the city with a wealthy family. His father made accessories for clothes and his mother ran the household. Through the Great Depression, Marvin's family had a hard time making ends meet. To help support the family, he had to do odd jobs from a young age. Even though he was having money problems, Marvin was set on becoming an actress, which was his dream. He went to a Catholic high school in New Jersey called Stust, Leo's Academy, where he found his love for acting and was encouraged by his drama teacher to make a career in the arts. Marvin went to act school in New York City called the American Theater Wing after high school and worked under the famous acting teacher Irwin Piscator. But Marvin didn't finish school because he was called up to serve in the U.S. Marine Corps during World War II. Marvin fought in the Pacific theater of the war and was hurt in action during some of the deadliest fights of the war, such as the Battle of Saipan. Even though Marvin was traumatized by the war, his time in the military was very important to his later work as an actor because it gave him first-hand experience of how cruel and violent war can be, which he would later use in his shows. When the war was over, Marvin went back to New York City and started playing again. He did small parts in plays and did odd jobs to make ends meet. In the tough acting world, he had a hard time making a name for himself. Because of his strong good looks and deep voice, he was often cast as tough guy roles. It wasn't until the early 1950s that Marvin's career really took off. In 1951 he got his first movie part in You're in the Navy Now. After that he had a string of hits including The Big Heat 1953 and The Wild One 1953, in which he played the famous biker gang leader Chino. Marvin stayed humble and grounded even though he was very successful. He never forgot that he came from working-class New York City areas. His struggles as a child and his drive to succeed had told him how important it was to work hard and not give up, and these traits would help him throughout his long and successful career in Hollywood. Fighting for Freedom. Lee Marvin's service in World War II. Chapter 2. Lee Marvin's time in the military during World War II changed his personal and business life in big ways. In 1943, not long after finishing from high school, he was called up to serve in the U.S. Marine Corps and fought for 3 years in the Pacific theater of the war. Marvin fought in some of the war's deadliest fights like the Battle of Saipan, where he was hurt while doing his job. Even though he was hurt, he went back into battle and was given the Purple Heart for his bravery. Marvin's time in the war shaped his later work as an actor. He used his first-hand knowledge of how brutal and violent war was to make his roles seem more real. During his time in the service, he learned to be disciplined and dedicated, which he used throughout his life. Marvin came back to the United States after the war and started acting again. But he had a hard time getting work, and because of his rough appearance and deep voice, he was often played as a tough guy. Even with these problems, Marvin's time in the military gave him a drive and sense of purpose that helped him move forward. He was set on being a successful actress. He worked hard to get better at what he did and make a name for himself in the tough world of Hollywood. In 1953, Marvin got his big break when he played the cruel gangster Vince Stone in the movie The Big Heat. Fans and reviewers alike gave him high marks for his performance, and he quickly became known for playing tough guys and having a rugged good looks. Although Marvin had been in the military, he had learned how to be determined and tough, which helped him do well as an actress. He was always happy to be a veteran, and he cared deeply about helping other service members. Many awards and titles such as the Silver Star, the Bronze Star, and the Purple Heart were given to Marvin for his service to his country. He was a proud and loyal veteran until the day he died in 1987. As both a Hollywood star and a war hero, his memory continues to inspire people today. Chapter 3: How a Hollywood Icon Was Made. The Rise to Fame of Lee Marvin. In the early years of his career, Lee Marvin had a hard time finding work as an actor. His big break came in 1953, when he played the cruel thief Vince Stone in the movie The Big Heat. This was the start of Marvin's long and successful career in Hollywood, which made him one of the most famous and diverse actors of his time. Over the next few years starred in a string of hit movies such as The Wild One 1953, Bad Day at Black Rock 1955 and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance 1962, all of which he played as an anti-hero tough guy with a mix of rugged charm and quiet passion. Even so, Marvin's first Academy Award for Best Actor came from his role as the drunk gunfighter Kid Schelling in the 1965 movie Cat Below. The movie did well at the box office and with critics solidifying Marvin's status as one of the best and most recognized actors in Hollywood. One thing that helped Marvin do well in Hollywood was the way he approached acting. Unlike many of his peers, Marvin didn't use the method acting style that actors like Marlon Brando liked. Instead, he depended on his natural talent and intuition to make his performances seem real and have depth. Marvin had tough good looks, a deep voice, and a magnetic screen personality. Also helped make him a popular actor. He had a natural charm that drew people in and made them believe in the roles he played, whether they were criminals or heroes. Marvin stayed humble and grounded throughout his career. Even though he was very successful, he never forgot that he came from working-class New York City areas. He was known for how hard he worked and how professionally he did his job. Because of his ability and drive, he inspired many of his fellow actors and co-workers. People today know Lee Marvin as a Hollywood legend and an American movie icon. His commitment to his craft and contributions to the art of acting continue to influence actors and filmmakers today, and he will always be remembered as one of the best actors of all time. Lee Marvin's personal life and relationships are talked about in Chapter 4. Lee Marvin was known for more than just his work in Hollywood and his service to his country. He was also known for his relationships and personal life. Marvin got married twice. The first time was to Betty Ebeling in 1951 and the second time was to Pamela Feely in 1970. Marvin and Ebeling were married for more than 20 years and had 4 children together. In 1970 they got a divorce. After getting divorced, Marvin married Pamela Feely, who used to work as a secretary in stewardships. Until Marvin's death in 1987 they stayed together. Marvin was known for being charming and outgoing, and women liked him. Over the course of his life he dated many women, including several high-profile affairs with stars like Angie Dickinson and Michelle Trejola. Marvin was known for being good with women, but he was also a loving father and family man. He looked out for his kids very carefully, and was known for having a giving and kind heart. Marvin loved being outside too, and he spent a lot of his free time fishing and shooting. He had a ranch in Arizona that he often used to get away from the stress of Hollywood and spend time with nature. Marvin was fiercely independent and true to himself his whole life. On and off screen he was known for being honest, dependable and real. He was a complex and multifaceted person, and his relationships and personal life showed that. He is still a beloved and important figure in American society. The end of our look into Lee Marvin's life and impact has given us a deep appreciation for the real person behind the Hollywood legend. Marvin was one of a kind. His acting and acting style captivated viewers, and his personal life was just as complicated and interesting as his work on screen. Marvin's story is one of determination, resilience, and being true to yourself. It starts with his struggles as a young actor and ends with his lasting effect on American culture. He did what he wanted with his life, and left an indelible mark on the world of film. His unwavering commitment to his craft and his beliefs inspired many actors and directors. we are reminded of the power of being unique as we think about his life and work, and how important it is to be yourself in a world that tries to change us into someone we're not. We are still moved and inspired by Lee Marvin's impact, and we are grateful to have had the chance to learn more about his life.